If you've ever left a doctor's office with a diagnosis you couldn't really pronounce, a treatment plan that didn't quite make sense, and a headache that was worse than when you got there, this one's for you. Because here's the thing, when you don't have the words to explain what's going on inside of your own body, it's really difficult to advocate for yourself. And after a concussion, that expanded communication gap can cost you time and money and a ton of self-doubt that you don't really need. Today we're breaking down the most common headache and migraine terms after a concussion in plain language so that you can go into your next appointment feeling confident, more prepared, and a lot less alone. My name's Larissa, and this is the Concussion Crew, a place where we make concussion recovery a lot less confusing and a lot more human. A quick note before we dive in. I'm sharing this from my personal concussion recovery journey and my own research. I am not a medical professional, and nothing that I say here should take the place of your actual healthcare team. Think of this as a translation guide, just a little bit of help understanding what's being said about what's going on inside of our bodies. Okay, let's talk headaches. One of the most common things that I've heard from people in this community and that I have lived myself is some variation on this. My head hurts constantly, but my doctor says that the imaging looks fine. Here are a couple of reasons why that disconnect happens. One is that migraines are different from headaches. Migraines are not just bad headaches. So we need to stop using those two terms interchangeably. After a concussion, headache pain doesn't behave like normal pain. It can move around. It can change intensity without warning. It can be triggered by light or by sound or by stress or by nothing at all. Or the stress of trying to film while your cat is trying to claw at the sofa right next to you. And because it's invisible, a lot of us feel pressure to prove it or justify it. Understanding the terminology and what it means doesn't just help you talk to doctors, although it'll do that too. It helps you to understand yourself, your concussion, and stop second guessing what your body is telling you. The first is a term you're going to hear probably early and often, and it is post-traumatic headache. All this means is a headache that develops after a head injury or neck injury. But here's what a lot of people don't understand. It's not just one kind of headache. Post-traumatic headache is an umbrella term. Under that umbrella, your headache might behave like a migraine or like a tension headache or like a neck-related headache or some combination. This is why two people with the same concussion diagnosis can require two completely different types of treatment. And it's why just take Tylenol and rest often doesn't cut it. If your doctor uses this term, it could be worth asking, what kind of headache pattern does mine look like? This question alone can open up a much more useful conversation. Oh, yours seems to be stemming from your neck. I think this is migraines. It opens the door to discussion. Next up is post-traumatic migraine, and let's be very clear that this is not just a bad headache. A migraine is a neurological event. After a concussion, the brain becomes more sensitive to stimulation overall, which unfortunately means that migraine pathways can activate more easily, even in people who never had migraines before their injury. Like me, post-traumatic migraine often includes light sensitivity, nausea, visual changes, and pain that gets worse while you're thinking. For me, that last one was really important because if your migraine gets worse when you're trying to talk to somebody or trying to listen to an audiobook or a podcast, that's not weakness. That's a neurological response, and it's worth naming it to your doctor. A tension type headache is often described as a band or a tightening or a squeezing around the head, like you got a vice grip on your noggin. After a concussion, though, it's not just about tight muscles. It's actually frequently connected to nervous system activation, jaw and neck guarding, and other stress responses in the body. Why this matters is that because treating just the muscles with massage, with stretching, that sort of thing, without addressing what the nervous system is actually doing to help perpetuate the cycle, is only going to give you some short-term relief. So if you've tried massage therapy or you've tried physiotherapy and it only gave you a little bit of relief, this might be why. This next one is a big one, and sometimes it's missed and overlooked, sometimes for years. A cervicogenic headache is one that stems from the neck and not the head itself. Because concussions so often involve whiplash type forces, the neck can be injured even when imaging looks completely normal, even in impacts that didn't seem that severe. Signs are headaches that start at the back of the neck or are more one-sided on the side that you're guarding, or headaches that are triggered by certain neck motions or certain postures. If you've noticed that your headache gets worse after looking down at your phone or sleeping in certain positions, maybe bring up this term with your doctor or your physiotherapist. Cervicogenic headaches respond really well to targeted rehab, and for some people, it's a genuine game changer. I'm also going to mention getting yourself one of these rings for your phone or a pop socket, something that goes on the back of your phone and makes it easier to hold it up so that you're not putting yourself into a position that is not going to serve you long term. Occipital neuralgia involves the irritation of the occipital nerves, the nerves that run from the base of your skull up and over your head. It can feel like sharp, stabbing pain, electric shocks, or even a pain that radiates up from the base of your skull. It can be intense and honestly pretty alarming the first time it happens. But here's what I would like you to hear about this scary sounding thing. It is a nerve pain pattern and not a dangerous one, even if it feels dangerous. And naming it matters because this type of headache responds to very specific treatments, like nerve blocks or really targeted physiotherapy. And that might not come up if your doctor thinks it's just a general headache. I know it can be tempting to not want to waste their time. You feel like you're listing a million billion symptoms and you've got so much going on, but letting them know exactly where the pain is, what it feels like, what type of pain it is, can help them to connect you to the right resources to get you feeling better faster. Okay, this one. This is a term that I wish somebody had told me earlier on in my recovery, and one that I would like to take a moment to give its proper space. Central sensitization. And this means that the nervous system itself has become hypersensitive. The brain starts amplifying pain signals even after the original tissue has healed. So I like to think of it like this. Imagine that your volume knob got turned all the way up. So your pain response has gotten the volume turned all the way up and got stuck there. Everything gets louder. Sensations that wouldn't have even registered before now feel overwhelming. Pain that should be fading just doesn't. And here is something important to take away from this. Central sensitization does not mean that your pain is imagined. It does not mean that you are being dramatic. It means that your nervous system is working overtime, and this is a documented and treatable phenomenon. This is common in persistent post-concussion symptoms and chronic illness symptoms, and understanding it can completely change the way that you look at recovery. If your pain feels bigger than it should, this term might be exactly what you're looking for. Now, I know we haven't talked about exactly how to describe or how to track pain, things like pain scales. When your doctor says on a scale of 1 to 10, how to turn your experience into information that your medical care team can actually use. That's coming in the next episode, and honestly, it's, I think, my favorite episode of the medical terminology series. I've been working on a tool that I used for my own recovery that helps make the whole pain scale thing actually make sense. I think it's going to help a lot of you out there. In the future, we're going to talk about pain, mental health terms, neuroplasticity. So make sure you subscribe so you don't miss it. I'll make sure to drop the episodes into a playlist. So if you're interested in learning more about medical terminology, make sure you check it out. If this video helped you to explain something that you've been struggling to express to your family or to your medical team, or even just to yourself, that's exactly why I make these. Save it for your next appointment. Share it with someone who keeps being told that their scans look fine. And if you're looking for more tools for navigating recovery, you can check out my website. They're free. I will link it below. Thank you so much for watching and for supporting the channel. I appreciate it. And I hope that you remember that you are not alone living with pain that just doesn't play by the rules. And you deserve to have the language to describe it.